We will call to order the October 16th, 2018 meeting of the Old Town Planning Board. The first item 2 is to approve the minutes of June 12th, August 14th, and September 11th,
The walk of shame.
2018. I had such good things to say about you too.
I know. You'll have them. I'm almost done. I've been working on another FEMA thing. that I'll
Well,
get
you
to
don't
do.
get a thank you, Dave, until we.
I know.
do the minutes.
I understand that.
Can I say? Item 3, removed from the table. Okay, we tabled it, so we're removing it from the table. The subdivision ordinance amendment to exempt 40 acres or larger parcels from subdivision review, case number 1535. You have the floor, Dave.
Again, thank you. I think this states clearly what you had hoped I would write the first time. Any questions?
Excites me now.
You know who it's gotta get by.
I know.
Does it get Tim's approval?
Yeah, I just way overthought that. And I appreciate you guys holding me to it.
Okay.
Because it is pretty clear right now, isn't it?
It's very clear.
Look pretty, well, as long as Tim thinks it's all right.
No, we're good.
All right.
Thank you again.
Any further comments or questions? And I guess we recommend amendment to the city council for adoption. How about a motion to that effect?
I'll make that a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? There we go. Thank you, Dave.
Thank
Item
you.
4 is request for a contract zone change from C1 commercial business to R2 general residence located at 149 Center Street, tax map 26, lot 116, case number 1536. And would you like to take the podium and?
I can, do you want me just to,
Sure, yeah.
just quickly introduce it? I
You
had,
don't have to, but usually people do, so.
Sure. So it's a very large historic downtown building.
And your name is?
I'm Tim McClary.
There we go.
I'm from Herman, Maine. I own another downtown building with some partners, 255 Main Street. We just had it recited with the help of Dave's guidance and Ron from the Economic Development Council. So trying to just improve downtown Old Town as much as I can, while also making a little bit of a profit. So we're taking the Mrs. Ross's old house. It's a 3,600 square foot house, dividing it up into 1-bedroom apartments, and renovating it from top to bottom. It's a full rehab. We're gonna have sprinklers, increasing the water mains, the sewer, replacing all the sewer. Got my general contractor here behind me, Zach Pike, to answer all the hard questions.
Okay. What's the average square footage for these apartments? I think I've got an idea, but I don't see it on here.
It'd be about 600 square feet for an
600?
apartment. There's, I believe you must have a packet of the floor plan.
Yeah, I do.
There are 3 apartments on the first floor, 3 apartments on the second floor. Kind of the natural flow of the building dictated how to separate out the apartments, as well as egress from the building, which we got direction from the code enforcement officers, and we gave that to them a while ago just to take a look at and give us any direction on if they think there need to be any changes.
Okay, and just I'm doing the pro forma here. Could you just state your name?
No problem. My name is Zach Pike, and I'm a general contractor, and I'm out of Orono.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
I think there must be also a parking lot layout there
I see that.
where we would use entrance off of Center Street and an exit onto Shirley Street, which I think would make for nice access. Right now, obviously, it's very complicated to actually get in and out of the driveway. That is there. It's dangerous. You got to back out onto the main street for the most part. It's probably always been a problem. I'm sure
But Shirley Street would be great, you know.
it would be excellent. It's the one way it would work out well for the direction, and it would keep the flow out of town and off to the side. So I think it's a I mean, we're open to suggestions, but I think it's a good natural layout for the building.
No issues with parking, Dave?
No, the ordinance does call for 2 spaces per unit. They have shown 11, but where they're one-bedroom units, and looking at that layout, if need be, they can fit another space in there. I don't see where the
You
need.
don't think they need it?
I do not.
And they meet the ordinance anyway?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no, all right.
Which ordinance? The
For
commercial?
R2,
For the R2,
because we're gonna change it to R,
to
request is
R2.
a contract zone change.
To
And As a
R2.
contract zone, we can do that. Doesn't
I
have to.
understand, so it would meet the R2.
Zoning ordinance.
If the R2 zoning ordinance is 12, then it doesn't meet it.
But there's also a caveat in there that they only have to construct one, but they have to have space to do more. And you guys can't approve that with a lesser.
Well, it would seem to me, just looking at you got a total of 6 apartments.
Correct.
And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 on the plan.
And I do believe there is space to add more if we needed to. This was our preliminary first draft of the plan, but also when we discussed what the ordinance was, it was 2 spots per, but we could also have, because there's only 6 bedrooms.
Right.
I mean, 600 square foot apartments, and they've got the space to put the 12th one in if they need it.
What's the assumption on residency?
What do you mean by that exactly?
Are you assuming that each dwelling is going to house one person?
I mean,
Because if it's 2 people, then
Right,
that
it could-
adds a complexity here that needs to be addressed.
right, so, it's not drawn to scale, but, where it says driveway exit, and then towards the back of the barn, there's a significant amount of lawn back there that we could expand and probably honestly put 4 more spots in there. They're, in the interest of economics, I'm trying not to disturb as much earth as possible, but once we get it all in there, I think it'll be pretty easy to put 4 more spots in
So
there.
if parking became an issue, that
Absolutely.
it could be
Right,
dealt
and that's the
with.
way the ordinance is worded. You can allow 1 per unit. It's so long as on the land, there is place to put the
Okay.
additional.
I would anticipate that, there would be couples in here that would each have their own vehicle.
Well, that's where I was headed.
Absolutely,
The thought
yeah.
process, so, yeah,
But then also the probability of all couples is,
understood.
And also, being familiar with the property, off to the right-hand side of where it says driveway exit, there's also more land. This is not the entire parcel of the property.
You own almost half an acre.
yes.
Right.
So, they can meet the 1 extra space they need that's required in the R2 zoning, kind of a moot point. That you can require that they have it
I
on the
just
plan.
want to make sure that if it becomes a problem, that it
We
can
can
be dealt
address it,
with. So
absolutely.
That's my,
Also, if I don't get the historic preservation, I can take out the shed, the little carriage house, turnout shed, and probably put another 8 spaces.
Yeah, which is,
Okay,
Is that
and
the
what would
structure?
trigger that as the landlord, what would trigger that would be your tenant saying, we've got 2 people per unit and we need more parking? Is that what?
Absolutely, or snow removal issues, or, the first time that we plow snow, we find that we need extra space, and it would just be convenient. It's not a big deal to add a couple extra spots.
Okay, well, and like I said, you've got the space for the 12th spot. You've got 11 on the plan. Now, if you want to require 12, then.
no, I'm comfortable with.
no, but I understand, because it can become cumbersome for,
Yep, and, the on-street parking in the wintertime is an issue
yeah.
in town,
Right.
because the houses are on top of each other, so it's a valid question.
Oh,
Yep,
absolutely.
absolutely.
What's the plans for the barn?
So right now, there are no plans to do anything immediately. The second floor could potentially be expanded upon. But I'm not sure how many units I can, due to zoning, legally put there. I could probably put another 2 units in the upstairs of the barn.
Yeah, the barn's fairly large space. It's more the renovation factor. There's some fixing up to do, and the floor and whatnot. So I think for the current process is the 6 in the main structure of the house, and then, I mean, with added parking spots and whatnot, as long as we fit all the requirements by the town, potentially you'd want to do something with the barn in the future.
If it was possible.
Right.
And if that is possible, you'd have to come back to amend this contract zone
Absolutely.
agreement.
So for right now, that barn is not available to the tenants.
It is not, no. No.
And the shed you referred to that could be torn down, is that,
It's attached to the barn.
No, the turnout shed, where the.
Oh, the other shed that you're talking about. Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
is that on the side of the building?
That is where the word exit is on this, give or take. It's up against the back fence that I share with a neighbor, over by the apple tree.
So it's a standalone?
It is, yeah.
So what is the area that shows doorways between the building and the driveway entrance? As to-
Are you looking floor plan?
Yes, first floor.
Okay. That's, so coming out of the rear unit, that's an enclosed porch where that would come out onto the driveway side?
Yes.
That's correct, yep. That's,
That's a common area, or?
No, it's just an enclosed porch that goes with that
it's kind of like a sunroom, but,
apartment.
right.
Well, how do the tenants get into all of the apartments?
Yep, so the back, on the first floor, the back tenant would come in through the sun porch. The 2 front rooms, they would come in through the.
The front door.
The front door.
From on Center Street.
Yep.
On the second floor, they would,
All 3 tenants would walk in through the Center Street entrance, and there's a common area on the upstairs. They'd go up the staircase, and all 3 entrances into the apartments are in that common area. I'm sorry, I should have had color on these to
Well,
make it a little bit
I
more strict.
have my
You
one
have
color.
color, okay. Okay,
Cheap to-
fantastic.
We can figure it out.
Yeah, and the only thing that we've done with the swings of the doors, because of those landing areas, Dave, Daniel, and I have talked about that, those are gonna all become in-swinging doors, so that
Makes
in the
sense.
case of any
Yeah.
problem, you're not all trying to open your doors. So all the doors that you see, with the exception of the first floor that exits through the sun porch, that can stay whatever configuration, because it's not impeding anybody else, but the rest will all be in-swing doors.
And we can change that on the drawing. I don't.
When- yeah,
Right.
when we get ready
I don't
to-
think we had discussed that yet, but I'm happy to make those adjustments, obviously.
Yep.
So the request before us then is to just basically amend or change that contract zone, simply change the zone,
Yes,
C1 to R2.
Right.
yes.
So, and now, is there any further action required from the board? I mean, this is the site plan review, or?
Typically with remodels, we don't, it doesn't come here.
The only reason it's here is because of the contract.
Of the zone, and when you look, and as I wrote in my memo, why that is still zoned C1 up there, I have no idea, because there's not a commercial business in sight. They're all multifamily apartments.
Right.
And once you get across Shirley Street, what's the next street to come, Brunswick?
Brunswick.
It's all R2 from that point
Yes,
on, so
it
they're
is.
there's
Yeah.
one house separating them from the R2 zone.
So then the contract zone apparently, why did, I'm trying to remember why it was changed to the C1 under contract zone.
It wasn't.
Okay, no, this is the first contract.
Yes,
Okay.
but whenever that was zoned originally, it was all C1.
Right,
That, the
fell in
whole
that
block that
space.
runs all the way down.
And the house is 100 years old? And it's been a C1 for,
1835.
I don't know when they zoned that as
Yeah, I
C1.
don't either, but, it doesn't.
I think what they were looking at, like we all try to do, is look for the future and think that downtown was gonna grow and that's where we want our businesses to be
So the
built.
simplest thing for us to do is the contract zone
Yes.
to address this. I mean, before, we would have had to have gone to the city council and request a zone change, and that it certainly could be called spot zoning, but
No,
not to make it, not to make
You'd have
it,
had to, no,
it would have been fine, I'm sure the council would have approved it, but under contract zone, the planning board can do it. So it makes it quicker.
well, it does still go, with your recommendation, it still goes to the council.
Okay, oh, okay. I thought we could do the contract zones on that.
Yeah, and get that paperwork, yeah. You have the ability to do the contract zone. They have the ability to do zone changes.
Right.
But they still have to recognize your recommendation for the zone change.
Okay. And if I remember right, for the council to overrule our recommendation, they have to have a 2/3 vote
Yeah.
on the council. Yeah.
And I don't see any issue with this. I've
No, no,
discussed
well,
it with a number of them, and
I mean, either way we would do this, it makes sense all the way around. You're not creating a zone in the middle of something. It can't be called spot zoning. It's,
yes, and when I say I've talked to them, everybody's excited. What are they doing with that building?
yeah, and it's restoring it to the zone for the entire area.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes sense all the way around. So with that, I mean, I don't have any other questions. Seems like it makes sense to me. And the contract zone is I mean,
Does that encompass the boundary of this property?
This property only.
Property alone?
It's like we did for the church, we did for Bob Modry.
Right.
And
And
I
it says
hate
it
to
right
ask
here.
this, but I'm gonna.
Yeah.
This is a subdivision.
Yeah. I don't
Can
see it
get
as
an
a subdivision.
answer on how this is going to affect that and in relation to all of the laws pertaining to that?
Well, there are no laws pertaining to it because you're not selling anything.
you're not splitting the property.
This is an apartment building. It's a one owner.
Okay.
And that property, that half acre, almost half acre, has been that way for 135
Yeah,
years
it's-
at least.
It has a single residence. Now it's 6.
But it's still one
But
owner.
they don't own
Right,
it,
but
they're
he's
renting.
not
There's still
subdividing the
one owner.
property.
All right, I
Yeah.
understand.
Well,
I'm
I'm
glad
glad
you
you brought that up.
I agree,
think-
because it's not clear, and I don't know anybody that has a,
I'd like to get a clear understanding of that myself. I mean, it would help me, so.
As far as subdividing the lot itself.
no,
You're
they
not.
changed the subdivision rules to
You're maintaining
include.
ownership of the lot that's been there.
In the continuity of the lot.
Yes, but you're allowing more than one family on the lot. And that is where this changes, because now you've got 6 families on a lot. And I'm pretty sure that triggers subdivision.
I thought you had to create lots to trigger
Well,
subdivision.
like
Not necessarily.
I started to say, I'm not uncomfortable with not worrying about subdivision. Like when we did the Habitat, absolutely, because those are separate
Yeah, and we
ownership.
still haven't got an answer back
I
on
know,
that.
and I talked with Ed the other day, I saw him, and
These aren't separate ownerships. The ownership is maintained. And I think that's a drastic difference than having 3 separate owners with shares in a property. I mean, that's,
No, I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying,
Mm-hmm.
but it's something that I think we need to look at.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad
We're
you're bringing
seeing
it up.
this
I mean,
a
it's-
lot.
Yep.
The whole point is to be, to be legal about it. But my understanding, of course, I'm looking at it from a different perspective. My experience with subdivision is ownership changes hands, and an original lot is cut into pieces
Oh, understood.
that may trigger the subdivision law.
Sure, and there are ways to circumvent that in that if you sell to an abutter, it doesn't
Right.
have to go through that. If you sell to to a blood relative, if you've got more than 40 acres, it doesn't have to go through subdivision.
which is what we just.
Which
Right.
is what we were just
Yeah,
working on.
so, I mean, I've been a Realtor since 2011, so I'm fairly familiar with subdivision law. And as long as you're not dividing
Right.
a lot, Unless I'm misunderstanding the term subdivision.
No, but the state has introduced new languages. It's very ambiguous, but
It's ambiguous, but this would,
it possibly
based on
could.
that language, would trip that review,
Okay.
which would trigger our road studies, sewer, water, all of those things, which would be
Which
triggered.
I am not
by
interested
this,
in doing.
so.
Well, of course, the last thing we wanna do though is to do a contract zone and then have somebody say that it's a subdivision. I mean,
It's been advertised, all the abutters within 100 feet.
Yeah. I personally don't think it becomes a subdivision the way it is now, but again, it's
Well-
the state and it's the wording that,
So you've asked the city attorney about the habitat. We also asked what happens when we have a single owner.
Single owner, I can.
Multiple families, whether that trips,
Yeah,
yeah,
brings in the new, when was the change in the law?
just recently.
yeah, within the last change.
The
See,
new book isn't out, so.
If it was a condominium and you were selling separate ownership interest in the
Absolutely.
same community?
Yeah.
And that's how we have
Yeah.
Yeah.
handled it. I will ask Ed.
so it's any two new lots in 5 years to the basic.
More than two.
Yeah, and
More
actually
than
that,
2 in 5 years.
and
yeah.
that's changed now too, because if you do a subdivision and you add another lot, you have to redo the subdivision. So I don't know where that came from yet either, but, so if that makes any sense to you. You sell
it
two
doesn't.
lots in under 5 years, you sell a third lot, it requires subdivision review. Fourth lot, 5, 10, 20 years from now, it all still has to be.
You have to look at the,
I thought you
the
could
whole
do
subdivision
up to
in its
2
entirety.
In a 5-year period.
Yeah, I
And
did-
then you could do another 2, no?
No, that's all changed.
And I don't understand the reasoning.
We need
Yeah.
to do a workshop on this, obviously. And our licensed surveyor can lead it.
Well,
Yes.
I'm scratching my head, so you don't want me anything.
Well, the contract zone that we're contemplating only is changing it from a C2 to.
C1 to, yep,
C1 to R2.
Right.
Absolutely.
Doesn't have anything to do with what the use of it is, that would go to you. And if it doesn't meet, if it has
Right.
to go for another approval, then you would have to tell them it goes with another approval.
yep.
So as a C2, would this be approved?
What's that?
If this was a C2 zone, would this be approved?
If it was a C1?
C1, I'm sorry.
No.
No, because it's
It
commercial.
requires retail on the first floor and dwellings on the second.
Okay, which is kind of silly.
Well, that's the way it is.
You know, I think the intent was Main Street and,
Yeah.
and again, I don't know how that ever got, because all those apartment buildings have been there for
Ever.
a long, long time.
And I think your point about precedence for the remainder of the area that is an R2, I think that's the driver in this space, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, we've hashed this over pretty good, haven't we? But it does sound like we need to have a training session on subdivision.
And, you know, and you can ask 2 or 3 different attorneys, and I have. I was at a training session with one attorney and got a totally different answer than I got
Well,
in
that's nice.
Yeah,
someone else.
that's what I've been running into also, and it's very difficult.
Okay, well,
Purposes of this request, then I'll make a motion.
please.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to make a motion that we put forward to council a request for a contract zone change from C1 commercial business to R2 general residence for this particular property located at 149 Center Street, tax map 26, lot 116, case number 1536.
Second.
We have motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Can we limit that the barn can't be further divided into more units? Because I don't really honestly believe that Old Town needs more rental spaces.
I think you had said that they would have to come back.
They'd have to come back.
They would have to come back, so.
But
at
it,
this
because
point,
it's
not eligible.
changed as a
but it's for a 6-unit building.
Right.
That's the limit?
That's the contract, and it's all,
That's the
it's
contract.
all
It's
written
all-
up in
it's
the,
all
in the
listed
contract
Here.
agreement.
Yeah.
So it can't be without further review?
Further review.
You just, it doesn't open up that you can just come in
No.
and get a permit from you
No.
and
You'd have to
allow
come back-
further
No, it-
expansion?
it's
For a new-
specifically
yeah,
spelled out.
basically a new contract zone,
Yep,
if you wanted to further, develop that barn, and make units in it.
okay,
And is,
We'd have some concerns about that. We'd wanna make sure we understood,
sure.
okay?
Yeah, I think once you saw the finished product of what we're doing, you're all welcome to swing by whenever you want to come in.
Okay.
You know,
Well, you know, we certainly commend your
Yep.
efforts. We think it's great, you know, for the area. Obviously, we have a pending
so
motion.
one more question
Uh-oh,
is,
not
if, if some further change is brought forward, can the contract zone be taken away?
If you thought it needed to be.
If,
Well, no, this contract will stay in place
Right.
for the 6 units. You
so-
can deny
so-
any
well,
additional
So this
units.
property is always gonna be residential too after this, so we can't force it back to
And then it,
become
see,
commercial.
nobody reads my stuff I sent.
I didn't.
No, in the contract, the city has control over this contract. It's for a 6-unit building.
Now,
And anything that happens,
I mean, and there's no way that, I mean, if they want like a home occupation or something, there's no way there's enough room to do that.
no.
So that wouldn't work.
Okay.
so, and I would forbid that in my leases.
Okay, well, just,
Yeah,
that would require revision to the contract zone.
absolutely.
Somebody wanted to run a knitting store or something out of there, they'd have to,
Find a new place to live.
I think the issue we have is, it's not you, it's the third owner from you.
Sure,
And this contract does go with the assigns,
that's right.
yeah.
but it's for a 6-unit building with associated parking.
Okay, so,
Can we control that?
Yes.
Yeah, we
These
got-
are- This is gonna be recorded at the
So that
registry of
if-
deeds.
If this property is sold, it would have to come back and require.
No, it goes
revisit.
with it goes with the
contract
land.
zone would go with it.
It would go with the deed.
But if they come to us, it's gonna be listed on the tax map as a limited R2. So hopefully whoever follows me will look at what the planning board did, and this is gonna be recorded in the deed,
Right.
in the registry. This contract has its own book and page, but it's attached to the original.
I understand that process.
Okay, well, these are all good things, and, you know, certainly don't wanna discourage anybody from bringing those things up.
No, we're all here to
Having said that,
do the right thing.
are we good?
I'm done with my questions.
Okay, we have a
Well,
motion.
Last question,
Oh,
what demographic are you looking for to rent these to? You,
Young professionals ideally, you know, people that are, you know, just out of college, graduate students, hopefully people coming to work at the mill.
well, I hope.
So, yeah, that's my target demographic. I work for Maine Real Estate Management, so we've got a pretty robust screening system. We're able to get higher end tenants. We were able to fill the 255 Main Street in about 2 months, so.
And
I'm
if
confident.
you know that building, that's like the subway,
Yep. I'm about to-
looks,
Yep.
looks really good.
Yeah,
That's cleaned it up a lot.
yeah, we gotta power wash that brick yet, so. A little ways to go.
I appreciate the investment in Old Town.
Yes, we appreciate your efforts and your patience with us.
No, there's a process and there's a right way to do it, so I'm willing to do it.
Being the master of ceremonies here and nothing else, we have a motion and a second, a lot of discussion. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
I oppose.
Okay. The motion carries.
That's fine.
Okay. So very good. So we're there. Well, this does have to go to the council. I was in error when I said that it doesn't. Basically, what I was thinking of is basically, we are the ones that put together the contract zone with Dave's help, obviously,
Sure.
and then approve it. council does have to approve it, you're aware of the process for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And-
I'll have that on the first Monday
okay.
meeting.
Okay, but we do recommend it by vote,
Mhm.
5-1, so, we wish you the very best, good luck, and
Appreciate it.
thank you for coming in and talking to us about it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Zach, good to put a face with a name.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been nice talking and sending emails and stuff, but it's nice to meet you in person.
Pleasure.
Yeah, I'll probably swing up sometime and actually talk to you in person about the swings of the doors
Yep.
and the other things that you've.
Maybe it
talked
was
to the
Tim I talked to
marshal
about
about.
that.
We talked about it on the phone a little bit, but we didn't, you mentioned it would be a good idea to maybe make some changes, and we're
Okay.
willing to do that, so.
Yep, we'll work with you.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Okay, well, let's do that, and that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Nothing.
any old stuff?
No, we're gonna have another contract zone coming to us next month if I can get it done. For Jim Dubé off the wagon, he's closed that. Done with trying to compete with neighbors and fight over easements, and so he's looking to put 2 units up, which he can without any problem.
Right,
A unit down and probably small commercial in the front.
oh, so you still maintain some retail?
He'd have,
So
yeah,
he'd still be C1.
So, why does he need a contract zone?
because it's not the entire first floor. It's like we did with Bob Modry.
Oh, okay,
It's a portion of.
there's still nothing commercial over there, so,
No.
okay. All right, well.
But that's all I know. The mill, everything looks like it's going wonderful, and
Well, explain wonderful. What is the current, I mean, I've heard a lot of things. Pulp mill is gonna get going again?
pulp mill will be introduced, yeah.
And I've had several conversations with Jean Carrier, who has told me for like the last 3 years that he was gonna call me the next day about news,
Yeah.
so.
Oh, it's been a long, long process.
So this is the real thing.
This is the real thing,
They're gonna run the pulp mill,
yes.
and anything else, or?
UMaines Biotech,
Right.
Well, yeah, let's
stay
all
there.
that, yeah.
You may see that maybe expand a little bit. I'm not sure. Will there be any after-the-fact wood products dealt with? I don't know. It's, right now, it's get it up and running and produce pulp. And it's gonna go from hardwood pulp to softwood.
Yeah, I know, I'm especially interested in that.
No, the availability is,
That's gonna help, a lot, hopefully. So then you don't foresee at this point anything coming before the board related to that site? Cause it's all within the,
they have 30 days before everything's signed and done with, but everybody that here is very optimistic, and
well, it's a, yeah,
So our
Or-
taxes are gonna go down?
Yes.
no, we're gonna,
Interested in that.
I gotta be careful, I'm on camera.
Services going up, taxes going down, that's awesome.
Never know.
Excited.
yeah. All
Is there
right,
any more development on the expansion of that mobile home park up in Stillwater Avenue?
Avi was in to see me yesterday. They're still working, contemplating what they want to do, and kind of explain the process again to them. And I explained, I said, I don't want to see you spend money, big money, to have somebody engineer this all out. But I said, if you come back, the board's going to want to see something to give them that comfort level.
But they can expand that park for so many homes. I think Russ asked the question last time, they could put a certain amount of homes in there.
Right,
now,
and that's what we need to know, how many. Are
Yeah.
there wetlands back in there? My mapping doesn't show it, but that doesn't mean there's not.
No, they couldn't expand it because it's.
Right now, they can't.
Because of the zoning, it's gonna require a zone change.
Right.
No, what I mean is, I thought that the parcel of land they had, they could put more mobile homes on some of that.
No, because.
Not without the zone
They're at the
change.
capacity right now. Oh,
They're at the
yes,
limit of.
Yeah,
the
they're
zone.
skirting that zone line right now
I
with
see,
their,
okay, I'm sorry.
nope, that's fine. So they're gonna keep thinking about it, and They've dropped the idea of the adjacent property.
Right, that's the one this-
Yeah, that one they. What else? Tim Hortons is going great guns. Walls are standing and,
No, not Tim.
not Tim Hortons.
Trade
Jeez,
Trade
trade
winds.
winds.
Trade winds.
Yeah, yeah, I noticed they put the cyclone fence up, so there's still plenty to go out to the airport, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
But he's
Yeah.
negotiating, I take it.
yeah. No, that's done.
So he's not gonna get that property? No.
Yeah, Jan Brown called me today. They're finalizing the building plans for out to the airport for Gary. So that should be starting relatively soon.
Isn't there supposed to be a border facility out there too? For the,
They are looking very seriously, Border Patrol.
that would have to come here too though, right? And it hasn't, nothing,
The site plan would, but no. That would be a really nice addition. The Down East Medical, DEME, they do a lot of search and rescue. They've got a couple
Oh.
fixed wings and a helicopter, and they might be interested in a lot out there. So if you keep some aviation aspect to it, it'd be wonderful.
Motion to adjourn?
I make. Didn't hear the motion, but you seconded it.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
that